Welcome to Crush Your Mountain Personal Growth. I am Henry Gassage, your host. I'm so thrilled for you to be with me today. Today, we're going to delve into the mind of one who was an addict, one who proves an interesting point that, contrary to the popular belief of some, addiction is not relegated to just one population, nor just one group of people, but it actually touches all echelons of life, from the upper strata to the basic common man like you and me. In this case, we're going to look at the upper echelons and see the fall and the rise. How an individual like Dr. Robb Kelly, PhD, the recovery addict, once stood on top of the world. He was a brilliant musician performing on stage at just 9 years old. In fact, he performed and recorded at the legendary Abbey Road Studios, the same one where the Beatles performed and actually recorded songs. If you remember the album cover, they're walking across the street single file, and that beautiful, iconic cover. Well, that's the same studio he played, and he pursued a PhD in psychology at the prestigious University of Oxford. And you can hear that Oxfordian accent coming from him, the Manchester accent. But behind the success, there was a raging, hidden battle that was going on, one that would take him from the halls of academia down to the mean and dirty and dangerous streets of Manchester, England. Homeless and alone and trapped in a cycle of addiction, Dr. Kelly had a moment of stark realization. The problem wasn't the drinking. The problem was the thinking. And that bit of clarity, that epiphany, would not only save his life, but allow him to touch and save the lives of thousands around the world. Get ready for the discussion, because it's going to change your life. It could possibly do so, because if you're dealing with an addiction of any sort, you have to question your own thinking, because that's part of starting the journey to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So get ready. I hope you enjoy this really heartwarming and intriguing discussion that I have with Dr. Robb Kelly. Dr. Robb Kelly, man, it is excellent to have you with us today. Welcome to Crush Your Mountain Wellness.
Thank you, Henry. Great to be here, man.
Yeah. Listen, you've got to be the sunniest guy over there in Texas, because you got the yellow and all over your eyes, and then on your jacket. It's cool. Tell me something, Dr. Kelly. Your story, of resilience is both inspiring and sobering. Can you take us back to that moment on the streets of Manchester when you actually began to, have that aha moment? What shifted for you during that emotionally and mentally at that point?
Well, I've been on the streets for about 14 months. Died twice on the streets in England with 7 suicide attempts. So finally it worked and brought that to life. So I'd lost everything, children, houses, wife, cars, money, parents, brother and sister. They all disowned me. So one Sunday night, Monday morning around 2 a.m., I remember it's pouring down with rain. I'm coming off a horrible bender. So I'm going into DTs. For those who don't know what that is, delirium tremors just means your body starts shaking and you could possibly die. Alcohol withdrawal. I dropped down to my eyes and knees. I remember as an atheist looking up to the sky and saying, if there's a God up there, I can't do this on my own anymore. And that's all I said. And about 30 seconds later, there's a guy walked around the corner. He'd missed his last bus home from the Bible study, so he'd taken this new walk home that he's never taken before. He took a shortcut to his house. He'd been walking an hour, and he came upon me. He said, "Do you need help?" And I said, "Yes, I do." So he took me back to his house, and he said, "You can stay here for as long as you want." His name was Derek. "You've got to come to these AA meetings with me." I didn't want to go. I don't like AA meetings, all the same crazy stuff. But he said, if you don't go, you can't stay. So off I went to the AA meetings the next day. And I remember this guy saying, "My name's John and I'm a recovered alcoholic." And I said to Derek, "What did you just say?" He said he's recovered. said some amazing stuff. So after the meeting, I walked over, would you sponsor me? And he said, no, but I will be a spiritual advisor for a period of 12 weeks. Every Wednesday, I'd leave Derek's at 6. I got there for 7. He'd walk me out at 8, and I got back for 9. 12 times I did that. He told me things would change. He told me I'd be going far away from home. And on the last night, he said things will change for tomorrow. And I said, John, you know I'm in Derek's basement on a blow-up mattress. Nobody knows I'm there. It can't change. But, you know, thank you. I just loved him, absolutely. Goodness me, the next day I'm cleaning up and washing all the dishes, and Derek comes home at lunchtime. And I said, what are you doing home? He said, hey, there's a job at the factory. This guy's just resigned, sweeping the floor. Do you want it? I'm like, oh, my God, yeah. That turned into a full-time job later that week. So after 2 weeks, I got the first pay packet, which was money stapled to an envelope back in the day. So I got my money. I'm excited that everything's happening in my life. I go to the gas station. I buy John a little teddy bear, that's all I could afford, and a card. And I wrote onto the card, thank you for John to introduce me to God, because he took the compulsion away to drink. And I went back to the house, back to the apartment. When I got there, there's nobody there. So the right-hand lady came out because I'm knocking hard. And she says, can I help you? And I said, can you tell me where John's moved to? You know, does he still live here? And she said, I don't know anything about John. I've only been here a couple of months. You might try the other neighbor. So I walked round and I knocked on this guy, and the big guy came to the door. What do you want? I said, where's John moved to? He said, John who? I said, the next guy next door to you, your neighbor. And he went on to tell me that that apartment was derelict. And if you walked in the front door, you'd drop down 2 floors and probably kill yourself. So I went back to the meeting. And the next day, and I went in, and the chairman was in there, and he's like, hey, Robert, great to see you. I'm like, thank God for that. I'm not going crazy. Brilliant. Great to see you. Does John still come here? And he said, John who? I said, the guy, I'm over near the copy machine. I'm asking him to sponsor me. He said, no, spiritual advisor. And he said, we thought you were praying or something because you were over near the copy machine speaking to yourself. Never found that man. Never found him. And when I got wealthy, I put the best private detective agency on to find him. We can't find him. But 90% of what I do today, and the reason we have a 98% success rate with a money-back guarantee if you relapse, unheard of, is because of the stuff that John taught me. And my life's been amazing ever since that day.
You know, you described your battle with addiction as being more than about drinking, okay, or being more about thinking about drinking. How did you come to that understanding, that conclusion?
I was outside a liquor store at 5 a.m. in the morning. It's snowing. I've got a literally a pair of shorts on, flip-flops, and a little t-shirt vest. I'm sweating profusely. I'm shaking. I can't put a sentence together. I'm really going through it. The guy in it, Pakistani guy, God bless him, he knew me, he knew the problem I had. He would open the door at 5 a.m. I would sneak in, he'd lock it behind him. I'm supposed to have alcohol till 10 a.m. in England. Now, this one occasion, and I never know why, this one occasion he let me in, and I'm shaking like crazy, and I couldn't really talk. And I took my 10 pounds out of my pocket, and I put it on the counter, and he put a bottle of vodka on the counter, the tall one with the handle, and this was my reaction. Headaches went, shakes went, sweats went. I'm in a great mood automatically, not even taking the cap off the bottle. But as soon as I touched it, I looked back at the shopkeeper, looked back at the bottle, and went, holy moly, it's not the alcohol. So that's what started it off for me. We went into the brain and studied the brain because I wasn't satisfied with people telling me just stop drinking. I wasn't satisfied with my dad saying, well, just stop drinking because of your kids. What's wrong with you? And there was nowhere to go. I go to the doctor. He sent me to AA. I went to AA. I kept relapsing. I mean, it was just this vicious circle. So the more, when I got off the streets and I started to get back into what I do today on a very small scale, I knew there was something different to the brain. And that's when I went in about 25 years ago. I went into studying what we knew about the brain. It was little pertaining to addiction and alcoholism. Now,
and that's when you moved into neuroscience.
Yes, because this is the deal with alcoholism. Alcohol has 1% little to do with alcoholism, and the same with any drug, food, sex. It's not the deal, it's the symptom.
So if that's the symptom, what is the underlying problem?
The underlying problem and the gateway drug is childhood trauma. So alcoholics are born and drug addicts are made. This is what we come up with when the neuroscience we're studying came into fruition. So alcoholics, you can't drink enough alcohol to become, this is what we come up, an alcoholic. It doesn't work like that. It's passed down. It's the only illness passed down from generation to generation, okay? Now, as soon as I say that, people are going to go, that's not true. I had heart problems. My dad had heart problems. It's biologically impossible. The staple food the mom and the family was on during them days is something in that, a protein or a food, that dad couldn't methylate. When we can't methylate a protein or food, there becomes a deficiency in the body. That deficiency may cause the heart problems. So alcoholism, you can trace three generations back. The hypothalamus, basal ganglia, and the amygdala differ in the alcoholic. We also have a predisposition. We're allergic to the ethanol. When the first time you take a drink, all bets are off.
Now, okay, for those of some of our listeners who are not medically trained, and they don't know, maybe they don't remember their basic biology. We are talking about parts of the brain, the hypothalamus, etc. So just so that they know what we're talking about. So please go on. Now, I want to get. I wanted to kind of throw a bit of a bone there because Dr. Bruce Lipton would say that epigenetics defines what would happen in the successive generations from the initial alcoholic. So wouldn't your environment have more to do with what sparks a person to become alcoholic as opposed to just the fact that daddy, granddaddy, great granddaddy all had alcoholic issues?
Probably 5%. Here's what's happening in the world today that people are unaware of is, let's talk about the hypothalamus. Okay, the hypothalamus is our survival part of the brain. So it tells us to drink water and eat food from birth. That's the survival basic plan. You have to eat food and drink water. That's it. Okay, this is our studies and has been for the last 9 years. In a hypothalamus in the alcoholic, during an alcoholic's drinking career, that's what it was for me, the hypothalamus turns around, tells the alcoholic to drink alcohol only to survive. That's why I can go days or weeks without food or water. When the survival part of my brain is telling me that I need to drink above anything else, kids, wives, everything, to survive, even though it's going to kill me, that's what we do. So when you look at that and the basal ganglia, which is our repetition, strength, and confirms, the basal ganglia is, our round. Imagine a clock face goes round and round and round as we learn things. Mm-hmm. Pilot needs 10,000 hours in the air, kind of thing. With the alcoholic, the basal ganglia is at fault. So if you can imagine a clock face, 10 after we go drinking crazy, 20 after we come home, we get the wife back, half past they let the kids come back, 22 we get that new job, and at 10 to the hour, we mess it all up. And you cannot give me one reason why you did that, because that is at default to self-sabotage. That's the latest neuroscience. This is, again, why we have a 98% success rate, and the nearest one to us is about 9%. Because alcoholism and addiction is not what people think it is. If we go, Henry, me and you go out on the streets right now, we ask 10 people, what's an alcoholic? And they will say it's somebody who drinks too much alcohol. That's not the truth. That's not the truth.
Okay. They would often say it's someone who can't stop drinking alcohol.
Yeah, definitely.
Without help.
Yeah.
So,
once you take the first drink, can you stop, guys? That's the question I asked everybody. Mm-hmm. When you take the first drink, can you stop? Can I go to the bar or get a beer from the liquor store, drink it, and then don't touch anything for a month, 2, 3 months? Well, the answer is no, I can't. If I took a drink right now, I wouldn't be here for Christmas. In fact, I'd probably be dead.
Wow.
Because the first place I'm heading to is Las Vegas, because now I can't stop drinking. Mm-hmm. And this is what therapists, God bless them, go back of 60s and 70s textbooks. I've been to college for like 8 years on addiction and alcoholism. If you haven't been through it, you cannot help somebody who's suffering, because you don't know how my mind works.
That's really profound. I find that especially in the space of coaching, health coaching, etc., is the individual who has experienced the trauma, the illness, the challenge, that based on their experience, they know they can help someone else.
Yeah. Listen, I would never go to a therapist or doctor ever again for my general health. Never. What I would go to is a coach. And they have to have gone through it. You see,
right.
If you're a therapist and you've been to college for 10 years and you've got a master's in addiction, great. If you haven't been there, this is a scenario. You get a bottle of vodka and put it behind your back, and I need to drink vodka. What do you think I would do?
Drink.
I would stab you repeatedly in the face until you give me the bottle.
Mm.
Now they go, oh my God, oh my. That's how our mind works. It's
Wow.
not normal. So give me anybody that's been through it as a coach. I'm well read. I've been to 18 years in college and schools over the years. Mm-hmm. It's not my main tool, because when they sit me down, Henry, go, what do you know, Dr. Robb? I've seen your big houses and your cars and your fancy what. I've seen what do you know about homeless? Check. What do you know about losing your kids? Check, 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 check. I've done it all. I've been through it. I know how you feel when you come to me and say, I want to commit suicide, Dr. Robb, what can I do? They never say you don't understand, because you've got it checked off and everybody knows that you've been through. You have to go through it. Now, addiction is different. You can get someone with addiction well, but alcoholism is different than drug addiction or any other addiction.
And the thing is, you've worked with over 5,000 people, including celebrities, and highly violent persons. How do you tailor your approach to helping anyone to the unique needs and perspectives of that individual?
Well, it's about 9,500 now.
Say that again.
It's 9,500 now.
Wow.
Yeah, over the 25, 30 years I've been doing this. Plus, they have big platforms, so there's probably millions of people I've been blessed enough to help. But it's all individual programs. We don't have a one book fits all. It all depends where they're coming from, how much trauma they have, the present circumstances now, what many secrets do you have, all the stuff in the past. And we use stuff like 9D breathwork therapy, we use brain spotting, we use NLP, we use all this stuff to bring people out every single day. And then what happens is most of the trauma that people suffer from is in the subconscious brain. It's not in the conscious brain. And when our prefrontal cortex asks for a decision in our normal life, and you haven't cleared up the childhood trauma, it's going straight to the subconscious brain, which everything that we've been through since birth is stored there, by the way. We go straight there and we get the wrong answer.
And would it be fair to say that the subconscious brain acts more as a defense and protective mechanism, so that in many cases, the actions that the person takes, including the addiction, could be a way of self-soothing, protecting oneself, even to its own detriment?
100%. That if you have some severe trauma, it's going to be hidden away. It's not going to be it's in the forefront. So without a doubt, but we have to realize the mind. Okay, the mind is very powerful. Mind over matter. The brain's matter. So the mind is the one that controls every morning. 3 parts of the brain reset every 24 hours. It's not an AA thing. It goes way before that. So we have to be aware that subconscious brain wakes us up in the morning. Yeah. Subconscious brain is absolutely, it's 100% best in a hypoxic state. We wake up in the morning. So between the hours of 2 and 5 on a normal circadian sleep pattern, 2 and 5 is where the repair starts, and the body is at its lowest and the oxygen is at low. It's why nobody's ever woke up laughing, because there's no oxygen. So when we get up in the morning, the subconscious brain wants to run that day. So we do our morning work, which specifies on the breath work. See, the conscious brain thrives in oxygen, but we only breathe 45 to 50% of our oxygen. The only reason you feel well going to the gym or in between the sets. So we take the 20 exaggerated breaths every morning, and we fill the body up and the brain and the central nervous system with oxygen. The conscious brain kicks in. Now we're talking. Now we're coming out of the now, and we can achieve anything we want to achieve.
Now you're describing the nine-dimensional breath work. Is that what you're describing?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was just about you to ask you to take me through that, or just describe it.
The 9D breathwork therapy has been around about 6 to 12 months, I think, but it's been a long time. So we're just partnering up with 9D, the company. It's a 9 dimension subconscious subliminal messaging along with a direct message. So you wear patches over your eyes and you've got headphones on. So from 9 different directions, you're hearing well, you're not hearing, you're hearing one subliminal messages. There's almost 50 programs to put on, and it addresses certain, and might just regenerational growth. And we go back into our grandfather, and it works around that. It retracts neural pathways. It repairs the trauma. It's a bit like when I first went on it, I did 12 minutes. And when I took them headphones off, I was crying. I was a changed man. Everybody that's been on it takes them off and go, what the hell was that? What? Because that's how powerful it's like therapy and psychology and, on steroids times a million. We've had that many good results that we're now looking at dementia and Alzheimer's to reverse the effect.
I would love to know a little bit more about that aspect when it comes to treating with Alzheimer's, dementia. There are so many different challenges now. People are losing, they're actually learning that people have the symptoms in their 30s, in their 40s. Okay, before these symptoms become pronounced, it's present in the body, present in the brain. So I would love to learn a little bit more in terms of how that technique, that tool, can help individuals with that.
It's just now you have to do it every single day for 90 days is what we suggest, or we don't suggest, we tell you that have to do it. And bit by bit, the brain starts to repair, the thought patterns that were gray start to come back again. So there's a myth out there with if you drink much alcohol, you kill brain cells. That's not true. That's a myth. There's so much myth around addiction and
That's
alcohol.
true.
So it kind of subliminally repairs the damage and takes you into what your real you. Everybody that hasn't had an immense, not long time, but immense treatment with somebody who knows what they're doing are only walking around about 50% of what their capability is. Everybody. That's what we found with our, 25, 30 years of research with thousands and thousands and thousands of not patients, but friends and colleagues and sponsors, stuff like that. Is like, we're not performing. Like the thing we say to them, they come off the hour one and they come off and go, oh my God, I feel absolutely amazing. This is awesome. And what we say is, no, you don't feel amazing. You feel normal. This is the way we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be ready to. We're supposed to be ready for ideas. We're supposed to be full of oxygen, ready to go. We're supposed to be happy. We're supposed to be, look after our family. We've got all these things are normal, but there's a couple of things happening. Oxygen, no. Sat down all day, it's hot. No. Human beings are not meant to sit down. They're meant to walk and move. My dad had an old saying that's true to today. I'm 63 years old. I now have 4 businesses. I'm never going to retire. And that is the day you retire is the day you die. And once you start, we've got to stop telling Granny to put another coat on and stay warm inside. We've got to take the freaking coat off and get her outside in the snow, to get her moving around. But everybody wants to. We're not eating raw materials. We're eating plastic food. If the first ingredient in anything that you pick up, and the food industry wants to kill us, then the pharmaceutical company's got to pay a client for life. All the crap oils, the canola oils, the sunflower oils, everything's sprayed in cornstarch in the center of the supermarket. It's like we're not eating properly, so therefore we're killing ourselves and causing.
That's so very true. That's so very true. I mean, it's a convergence that forms a perfect storm. It's the pharmaceutical industry. It's the medical industry. It's the food industry with all this ultra processed food. And I would venture to even say that that it feeds addiction in many ways. It drives that. It even, I would argue, affects the growth and hormonal development of children, from an early age. So,
100%.
and the sad thing is, it's challenging to get people, get parents to realize that. But can you do this? Can you share an example of the client's transformation that stands out in your mind? You've been helped over nearly 10,000 now. What one particular client stands out as particularly challenging to work with, or who had the most profound transformation?
I mean, there's just literally too many to mention. I mean, everybody has that effect when they come to us. But the worst people for me to start working with is the guys that have money and the guys that are famous.
Say that again.
The guys that have a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
or the guys that are famous.
Mm.
They want to. There's no. They're all yes men around people like that, and they come here and we blatantly tell them no, and they're quite shocked at that. It's like
Mm.
we have a philosophy again that changes us. I don't give a shit whether you come on board or not. Like I'm not taking. We turned $1 million down 18 years ago from a female pop star that wasn't ready. You've got to earn your place in this company. Like you need to pass an assessment before we take you on. You can't walk into us with a checkbook and go, hey, you can't do that. So it's focused. I only take on 4 patients every 3 months. Now my staff around the world, they take on hundreds of patients. But the 4 patients I work with, I'm their concierge doctor for a period of 3 months at a time. So all of them go through this stage of don't try and tell me what to do. Do you know who I am? I'm not living here. I'm not following rules. I'm not. So we fire them.
Mm.
What do you mean you fired? Get out of my office, get out of my house, go home, don't never come back again.
Mm.
All of them come back because they're shocked. I don't play games like that. I've seen too many people die of these diseases. And we're talking about all addiction, all food, I'm sick to death, and we're not playing games. You either do as you're told and you get it, or we don't work with you. We don't. People always think that, oh, you're taking on, Michael Jackson. You can't say no to him. I can say no to whoever I want. You're not blackening my name by the rich people are the worst. Sorry, rich people. When they bring the kids here, oh, there's my 7-year-old son, and there's a big check. Can you fix it? Well, okay, let me start with, what do you do when he comes home from school? Oh, he plays his games. Does he really? How long? 4 hours. Well, there's a future addict for a start. Where's your parents' responsibilities?
Right.
Anything less than nurturing as a child is child abuse. That's
That's
what we
so
found
true.
out with our trauma work.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, that is often a big issue right there. What the parents fail to do, and dare I say it, at least in this country, it seems that nowadays, and this has been going on for quite some time, parents send the children to school to learn everything, learn value, learn right from wrong, learn things that the parent should be instilling in the child. And then we wonder why our society is the way it is. So I mean, it's very profound that you mentioned that. So, what keeps you inspired? In this work every day.
It's healing one person at a time, Howard. This is the way I look at it. There's a great story I tell when I'm speaking. Guy goes to the Golden Gate Bridge, throws himself off, suicide, done, he's dead. Police fish him out of the water, find his ID, go back to the apartment. They're looking for next of kin, but what they find is a note on the kitchen table, and it read, I'm going to walk to the Golden Gate Bridge and throw myself off and commit suicide, unless on the way there somebody smiles at me, says good morning, and he's on an hour's walk, by the way, or says hi, and in that case I'll stop and turn around and I'll go back home. The question I carry with me every day is, how many people have you passed today, guys, heading to the Golden Gate Bridge? One person at a time, looking at somebody's face when they make another breakthrough, watching the families of the patient that we have that he'd given up on himself, watching everybody recover on a daily basis is what it keeps me alive. It keeps me young. It keeps me inspired. And we're still working on new stuff all the time because I want to be your Derek and your John. That's the bottom line. I want to be your John, that when you've got nowhere else to go. We send people to treatment, Henry. Well, son, okay, has he been treatment? No, okay, go to treatment first. What? Go to treatment first. I want you to experience that and then come back to us. And we always do that, It's like I get inspired by people.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. That's a, that's pretty much awesome. And I don't say that often. I don't say that often. It's incredible that you've had this journey, that you speak on stages around the world. You're helping people around the world. You're bringing the you're actually making a dent in the addiction space, because people need help with alcoholism, and you know it sounds like you've got maybe not the magic bullet, but you certainly have the techniques to make change and make a lasting change with individuals. So I really want to thank you for taking this time with us. Um, well, right now, if we gave you a yellow derby and a piano, we would have you sing a few bars of Yellow Brick Road, or one of the Elton John songs, because you do have that. You've got that vibe going on there,
Yeah.
man.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
But Dr. Robb, man, it's been a pleasure, and I just want to say this. I have one last question that I ask all my guests, and so I just wanted to ask it to you, because I think your insights in particular would really bring things home for people. So, Dr. Robb, please tell us, what does it mean to you to crush your mountain?
Crushing my mountain is not the first thing that somebody thinks about doing. Crushing my mountain for me is being teachable, is chipping away day by day, knowing that you're changing the world. That's what it is to me. It's not, what comes overnight goes overnight. I've learned that so many times. Chipping away, being teachable, being kind, and never stop. Never stop. I don't care how many times you were turned down, never stop.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's powerful. And that's the reason why that's powerful, is because so many people uh, fail to realize that in order to lead, you have to learn. And in order to learn, you have to have the willingness to do so.
Yeah.
No,
That's the big one, the
that's
willingness.
the biggest challenge. And so you're a lifelong learner, and that's what we value and love about you. And tell us again, well, just so that folks know, where can they find you, learn about your incredible work?
So if you're listening and not watching, and you can't see that I spell my name with two B's, ROBBKELLY.com is the website. Jump on any social media and put Dr. Robb Kelly in. Jump on the foundation page if you can, the robkellyfoundation.org. We're not here for patients. We're not here for money. What we're here for is to help another human being today, Henry and I. But we do have a foundation, and it basically looks after the kids who come from dysfunctional homes. So any kind of dysfunction, we look after them. We pay a lot of money to, like, single dads who are trying to get the kids back for weekend. We'll buy him a suit, we'll pay his legal fees. That's what the foundation does. But come find us, man. I'm on all social medias. If you do send a message on social media, bear with us. I don't do my own social media, but the message will get to me within 48 hours, and I'll definitely reach back out to you.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, listen, man, I know you've got a lot of things to do, and I don't want to keep too much, but it's been just amazing hearing your insights. We need to have you back on and explore more about the neuroscience of alcoholism, but the neuroscience of change, which I'm more interested in. So we will have you back on again. I look forward to it too. Okay. Thanks again, Doc.
Thanks,
Like I always say, everybody, look, you have the power to make the change for yourself. However, it's always vital to have the right person to guide you and walk you through. That's where your health coach comes in. That's where your trainer comes in. That's where your teacher comes in. Understand, the doctor is your guide. The hospital is your guide. Okay, don't just climb your mountain, crush through it. We'll see you next time. Thanks again, Doc.